the beginning it was harder because in the beginning with no video, with nothing, and you're trying to get a tryout, and you get they just say, okay, there's a Haitian guy, there's a guy from Brazil. Okay, automatically they say Brazil. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean anything. The Haitian guy may be better than the Brazilian guy. So if you don't look at them, then and so that thing would happen a lot. I had some trials that I went to that I was obviously one of the best, but because of my nationality also, I didn't get picked, or the fact that I didn't have a passport that was European, then I would be considered as a foreigner. So then they had to pick up some other guy. So it's not only the thing that the teams don't look at you the right way. It's at times because of your passport, they cannot sign you also because you're not from the country. And so it gave me a lot of trouble in the beginning of my career. But even now, like I said, now I've played so many international games, so many top games. I played so many big club games in my career in leagues and all over the world. And now, for instance, if I send my resume and send my video where they can actually see me play and see my resume, and they see a guy from, I don't know, 5th division in Spain, they still want to think about the guy in Spain before. You know what I mean? Like, because this is how I guess the human brain is wired. They just have this idea that a footballer has to come from this country or this country or this country, and even though when they see the guy in front of them, they still don't believe, you know. So it's one of the challenges, but I mean, I don't mind because I've been used to it my whole career, and it just makes me work harder, and I just know that every time I go on the field, I have to work this much harder to prove to everyone that they always want that I'm the best player, and that's how I feel.
The VAR Show. The one place for your weekly football update.
Hola, very warm welcome to the VAR Show, the show which talks about all the various major football leagues in detail. Today we are going to continue with interviews, and we have Mr. Fabien Vorbe with us. So he has played for the likes of NEROCA, Gokulam Kerala FC to name a few, and has also represented the Haiti national team. So without wasting much time, I would like to first thank Fabian for coming on the show. Thank you and welcome to the show. And I would like to begin by asking you, how are you and what are you doing these days?
Well, thank you for your invitation also, and I'm happy to speak with you guys. My family from Asia. Right now I'm in Peru. And I've been here with my fiance for the last 6 months due to the pandemic. I came here early February just to see her because it was her birthday, and I got stuck in the whole pandemic and airports closed and everything. I've just been here trying to stay focused, trying to stay busy, and that's it. Waiting for it to pass and stay healthy.
Of course, and being a footballer, how difficult has it been for you? Like the past maybe 6 months where you are not able to play and maybe you are in a lockdown. How difficult? How are you coping with it?
It's very, very, very difficult. Like you say, for us, the thing we like to do and the way to keep fit is by playing soccer, by touching the ball and everything. And soccer, football has been one of the most affected sports because it's a team sports. So you can't do it alone. So you need people to not only to come watch the game, but you need people to train with and everything. So if we cannot play and we cannot train, I mean, I can stay at home. I go, I run, I stay healthy. I do exercises. I have my fitness routines, but it's not the same, and it's killing me. It's killing all of the footballers that cannot do their job actually right now.
Of course, and I wanted to ask you, I want to get back to your personal career, and you have played in so many different leagues, be it in Sweden or maybe in Canada or Peru or India. How different has it been for you? How has the journey been for you? How did you have to invent yourself?
Well, at first, for me, there was no getting around it because from Haiti, there's no football professional league in Haiti, and so if you want to be a footballer, you have to know that you're gonna have to travel. I never thought I would be traveling this far, and at times be so far from my family, but I've liked it. I've loved the process. I embraced it, and I also got used to it because at the same time, not only you get to play football and do what you love, but you get to see, experience new cultures and make friendships that will last you for a lifetime, and connections, because football is not for your whole life. And so after football, you need to have some friendships all over the world. You need to know stuff. You need to have some connection that I feel that playing around the world has helped me too. And obviously the cultures are different. When you say Canada to Asia to Peru to South America, it's a lot of different cultures. But I'm embracing it and I'm loving it. I don't regret any of it.
Of course, and you start. I'll get to a part where you're in India. You started NEROCA, I think, in 2017.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Because Haiti is very far from India. How did you get to India?
Yeah. Well, what happened was at that time, the years before that, I was playing in Peru, and I have a good friend of mine that was a top player. He's probably a legend in Moumbagan, Sony, and Sony has been a good friend of mine from since we were kids, and we were training together, playing on the youth national teams together. Even though I'm younger than him, but we used to train together and play together. And at the time I was in Peru, I would still be called up for the national team because we had national team games for World Cup qualifiers, for Gold Cup qualifiers and stuff. And he would show me and tell me how the football is in India, how the people love it. And at first I was a bit skeptical of it. I didn't really believe him. But then I would look at the games, I would look at his pictures, and I say, okay, maybe. And then he started to speak to me a lot more about those stuff. And then it happened that after a national team game, the season had just ended in Peru, and we were back in Haiti, and we were training together. And I said, you know what, let's give it a try. And he put me in contact with a representative and with some people. And then from there, we went on. Obviously, I was not able to join him directly at Moumbagan because at that time, they had already signed all their foreigners. But the representative that he had put me in contact with knew the people at NEROCA, and they had a good project. They were just coming up to I-League First Division, and it happened like that. I decided to join them, and I don't regret it at all because it was one of the best seasons of my life, and also one of the best seasons of NEROCA too, because until the last day we were almost champion. If you had won the last game at East Bengal and not tied, we would have been champions on our first season in the first division.
Of course, and do you look back and feel sad because you had a chance to be champions in your first season and you did not?
Yes, definitely. I mean, at times I would love to say that even though we were not champions, you learn from it. And I think all footballers or professionals always tell you that, yeah, it's a learning experience, but it still hurts. You still feel like you should have won it. It doesn't take away from the fact that it hurts. And even though when we started the season, like I said, NEROCA just came up from second division. So the team, the organization, when they were speaking to us before the first game, they were like, our team goal this year is to not get relegated. And then as soon as they saw that the team kept on performing, the motivation or the team goal started to change. Now they were like, okay, let's finish in the top 4. And then when we were like 2 games away from being champions, they're like, we want to be champions. And us as players also, because you play to be champion. And every time people were saying, no, NEROCA is fighting to not be relegated, as players we knew, we were like, those people are crazy. We're going to prove them wrong because we knew we had a good team. And the last game versus East Bengal, it was crazy because we knew if we won that game, that we were champion. It didn't matter. And we were leading 1-0, and I don't know, they had a chance, they scored, and I guess it was just 1-1. And at that time also, you start looking back on other games that maybe you had the chance to win, but you didn't win for small mistakes on our parts, or maybe like the ref didn't give you a call and stuff like that. And you start realizing that those few points would have been the difference, and it hurts, to be honest.
Of course, and then after that you also moved to Gokulam Kerala, and that is very different culture to NEROCA, where NEROCA is and how Gokulam is. How was your time at Gokulam?
Yeah, well, the thing that happened with NEROCA too is that after the season, I still wanted to come back, but the fact that I was playing with national team, I had some other offers and some other options, and I had options in Europe. At the end, didn't come to fruition, but I was looking at different options, and at the time I said I was ready to come back to NEROCA. I think that there was some issue with the management because they were trying to, and we didn't understand either because they had released our coach, which had almost won the championship with us the first year. A lot of key players from the team they changed too, so we didn't really understand what was happening. But I mean, at times the management knows what they're doing. It's their decision. So I was not able to come back to NEROCA, and that same coach ended up going to Gokulam. So when he went to Gokulam, he called me because obviously we had a good relationship and we had a good run with NEROCA that we almost won the league. So as soon as he got there, he called me. He said, "Fabian, I need you. Are you available?" I said, "Yes, coach. Let's go." And I came back. And when I came back, I got to Kerala. Like you say, it's very different. Like the culture, even though it's in the same India, it's totally different. Calicut, Kozhikode, Kerala, and Imphal is two different places. But I still liked it. I like the weather. I'm from the Caribbean, so I was by the beach, and I like the weather. I like the fans treated me well. The organization also tried to treat me well. They try to accommodate me. Everything was not perfect, but I know that they really intended to give us the best possible situation and conditions for us to have a good run. I think ultimately we had a better team than we had in NEROCA, but football is not only about having team, it's about gelling together and a lot of other things happening. So we didn't have as successful season as we had in NEROCA, though I think for me we had a better team there. But at least we beat NEROCA when we faced them, and that for me that was a bit of revenge, and that was it.
Of course, and I wanted to ask you, you said how the everything is so different. How is the fan culture in India generally in comparison to the other places that you have played in?
For me, it's crazy. The Indian fans, the Asian fans, they like football. The thing is that they don't have that culture that maybe you find in South America or Europe, that they're singing the whole game, or that fan culture that you see throughout other leagues. But they do show up. Like we had some games that we had 40,000 people, 60,000 people. So they show up, and when they start making noise, it's unbearable. But at times you feel like they need to get a bit more involved with the chants, which they are doing, because now I see a lot of improvement. I see the fans making groups of fans, fan clubs or whatever, and then they even getting together, rehearsing songs. And I see this happening not only with NEROCA, with teams in the I-League, but also teams in the Super League. Because even in the Super League, you would see games and you would almost be hearing what the players are saying on the field, or sometimes the stadiums would be empty. And now it's changing. But yeah, when they do come to the games, and those fans, they're diehard fans, man. They follow you. Up to today, I still have NEROCA fans writing to me. I still have Gokulam fans writing to me. I have Bagan and other teams that I didn't even play for that are writing to me. So it shows you that the people are really involved in the sport.
Of course, and I wanted to ask you how was your experience? You stayed there for around 2.5 years in India. How was the experience in India as a whole in terms of football and in general?
I liked it. To be honest, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I want to go back, and I made it clear to representatives and team management that I want to go back. At first, it was difficult because of it's really far, So the problem was that to be able to keep in touch with your family, 12 hours, 13 hour difference when I'm waking up, they're sleeping, and so it was a bit tough. And it's not easy for them also to just take a flight and get to India, because it's really far. It's like a 23-hour journey. So the thing was that I didn't get to see them much, so that part was hard. But the other part, the football part, the people embraced me well. I was comfortable. I lived fine. The food was fine, and I really had a good time. So I wish that I can go back. And obviously, if I go back this time, obviously I'll take my family with me, so I don't have that problem of communicating and just take them with me.
Of course, and I'll put in a difficult spot here. And now, if you had to choose one club where you had the most fun in your career, which club would that be?
The most fun in my career.
Where did you enjoy your time the most? Anywhere.
I'd say NEROCA. To be honest, NEROCA. because I've been in a lot of good teams around the world where I treated football as my job, and I went to work, and I had some good teammates. I had really talented players around me. I played some good games. I played in some top leagues. But I think NEROCA, because of the fact that not only I had chemistry with the players on the field and off the field also, some players like Guramangi, Aaron Williams, that till today we speak all the time. Also, the I think the family atmosphere that was there with the management, because we lived at the hotel that the management and that the owners own. So everything, we would always see each other, and I'd see Indian legends like Grenadines all the time, and people from the city like Enfal is a small city, so when I would go out, I would see them. I would be involved with the community, but also the fact that we had so much fun on the field because we were underdogs and we were achieving every game, winning. And for me, it made it so fun because to sit there and day by day or week by week analyze, for instance, what the reporters were saying before NEROCA started the season, and then from them saying NEROCA will be fighting to not be relegated, and from them saying, oh, NEROCA is for real, for them saying NEROCA is a title contender, oh, NEROCA players are good. And for me personally too, I was having a good career because I was leading the league in all the stats. Like for a midfielder, I was the midfielder with the highest passer rating and with the highest minutes and a lot of stuff. So when you take all of this together, for me, that was my best season and the season I had the most fun because, I mean, it was really enjoyable, to be honest.
Of course, and talking of the same stuff, like on a personal level, are you superstitious? Like, do you follow certain routines before games?
I don't like to call myself superstitious, but I do things like at times I'm like, okay, this worked this time, so let me do it again. So like, it's not like I have one underwear. For example, I don't have that one underwear that I play every game with. But if I happen to play a game with a certain underwear and I win, I'll try to maybe use it 2 or 3 times and see if it happens. And at times it does happen, but it's not like I believe in it. I do have a routine before the games that I always follow, but this is, I think, it's not about superstition. It's just about being a professional and you know what's good for your body. So I follow this routine. But as far as superstitions, I play a bit with it. I play around with it. At times I believe it, at times no. So I can, you know what I mean.
Of course, and if you had to choose one coach or a person, who had the most influence on you as a player, as a whole in your career, who would that be?
A coach.
Or any person.
For me, that was, let me think. My mother, to be honest, my mother, because my father died when I was 4 years old. And obviously, my mom did everything she could to support me, to support my dreams. I had the chance also that she comes from a big family, so I had my uncles and cousins, and they were always there for me, and they helped me a lot too. But at the end, it goes down to my mom to being there for me, to making sure that I was happy, that every time I wanted to play soccer, which is not easy for a Haitian kid to be doing because there's no football league in Haiti, and Haiti is not always viewed as a football country. So for me, when I would go like maybe to get a tryout or to speak to agents, they would just see my nationality and they would not be interested, And my mom never let me give up, and she installed in me that kind of mentality and that kind of character that I have, that I don't care where I go, I know I'm going to be successful and I know what I want, and I would not stop until I get it. And this is what has allowed me to play around the world and never feel like I'm giving up or let down. Even for instance, this situation, I haven't played in a long time, but I'm still confident that I will be playing soon again. And as soon as I get on the field, I'll be one of the best players. And that's my mentality. And I think that this is the biggest thing my mom gave to me. And so she's my biggest inspiration, and she's the reason, honestly, that I'm a professional and I'm the man that I am right now.
Of course, and you touched on a very important topic, like you said, like how many of them, when they see your nationality, they say, okay, you cannot come, or they judge you. Maybe they have some stereotype of what that place is, or if that place is good or not, whatever that is. Yeah. How much have you faced that in your career?
a lot. Until today, even though today, I still have my videos and my CVs, and you can show a team. So it's not like in the beginning it was harder because in the beginning with no video, with nothing, and you're trying to get a tryout, and they just say, okay, there's a Haitian guy, there's a guy from Brazil. Okay, automatically they say Brazil. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean anything. The Haitian guy may be better than the Brazilian guy. So if you don't look at them, then and so that thing would happen a lot. I had some trials that I went to that I was obviously one of the best, but because of my nationality also, I didn't get picked, or the fact that I didn't have a passport that was European, then I would be considered as a foreigner. So then they had to pick up some other guy. So it's not only the thing that the teams don't look at you the right way. It's at times because of your passport they cannot sign you also because you're not from the country. And so it gave me a lot of trouble in the beginning of my career. But even now, like I said, now I've played so many international games, so many top games. I played so many big club games in my career in leagues and all over the world. And now, for instance, if I send my resume and send my video where they can actually see me play and see my resume, and they see a guy from, I don't know, fifth division in Spain, they still want to think about the guy in Spain before. You know what I mean? Like, because this is how I guess the human brain is wired. They just have this idea that a footballer has to come from this country or this country or this country. And even though when they see the guy in front of them, they still don't believe, you know? So it's one of the challenges, but I mean, I don't mind because I've been used to it my whole career, and it just makes me work harder. And I just know that every time I go on the field, I have to work this much harder to prove to everyone that they're always wrong, that I'm the best player, and that's how I feel.
Of course, and you also said that you haven't played for quite a lot of time. Like I think your last club was Gokulam. If you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
how are you keeping fit? Like for your next wherever you go.
No, I mean I've been training. I've been training hard, and as the good thing too is that this is happening at a point in my career where I'm experienced enough to know what to do, to know what to train, to know how to eat. So I've been doing that, and the thing is too is that ultimately the reality is I haven't played in a long time, but I've had offers. I had good offers at times that I turned down because obviously they didn't fit my needs. And also, unfortunately, there was the pandemic, because before the pandemic, I actually had offers to go play in the U.S. and I just came to Peru to visit my girlfriend for a small time and go back to the U.S. and the pandemic happened and everything stopped. So this also caused that a lot of players are not with teams, and the time without a club is being longer just because of the lockdown of the pandemic. So this is happening too. But I'm confident that now that it's getting over, I'm talking to some teams again, that leagues around the world in India or wherever are starting again. So I'm confident that soon I'll be signing a good deal and starting to play again because I'm still fit. If I think, and I'm not even joking, I told that to a friend the other day. I'm like, if you put me in any league right now or in any team, for instance, and with teams that are training or whatever, I'm probably more fit than any of the guys. Now maybe I'll need a little time for the football part to get back to the touching of the ball and get those things back, you know. But even those things, they take what, 1 week, 2 weeks, and I'll be back. But I'm confident that I'm ready to play again.
Of course, and you're very young in terms of a player, but
Yeah.
do you plan into getting into coaching after your playing career?
I don't know if I want to. I know I'll be involved in football. I don't know if that would be maybe coaching, if that would be management, if that would be creating my agency. But I know I'll be involved in football because football is my whole life. I have an academy with my family, and we have an academy in Haiti also. So I know that in some way I'll be involved in football, but I haven't decided, made up my mind yet if it's gonna be coaching. I love watching the game. I know I have a lot to teach, but I don't know exactly in what realm I'll be featuring myself after my career.
Of course, and I'll get back to your playing career, and like, which opponent has been the most difficult for you, as a player?
Lionel Messi.
How was it playing
Lionel
against
Messi.
him?
It was amazing and tough at the same time. Like the fact that you were playing before the game, we knew that we were playing one of the top teams in the world with some of the top players in the world and the best player in the world in my opinion. And before the game, it was just like, okay, we have to stay concentrated, we have to do our things right. And as the game started, you forget about all that, like at times Messi would be next to me and it'd be like, okay, it's just another player because I have to do my job, and that's how football is, you know what I mean? But still, it was very difficult because he moves a lot and he's obviously very tricky. And for as much as you know that Messi's on the field, at times you forget that he's there because he walks, he glides, so you just forget about him. And then at the split second that you forget about him, he gets the ball and boom, 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 and it's so quick, so fast, and cuts inside and cuts outside, and it's very, very, very complicated. Even though at times you know what he's going to do, stopping him is almost impossible. So for me, it was amazing experience and it was a good time too, but it was very tough.
Of course, and was there a queue or a fight for his jersey after the game?
There was some players some Haitian players, but they went to the locker room to try and get his jersey. What happened was, it was actually funny because I speak Spanish fluently and most of the Haitian players don't. And at one point, I had a conversation with him on the field, and I said, I hope that you brought maybe like 30 jerseys because everyone is gonna ask you for your jersey. And he started laughing. He said, I have 10 in the locker room, but I don't have 30. And I was like, oh, okay. And then after the game, like, it was funny. You saw all the guys running towards him, and like security had to hold him. It's something that, I wouldn't do it. I was walking around, you know what I mean? Like, I respect him. I would love to have a jersey from him, but I also wouldn't do that, But I understand some of the players seeing that it's a chance for them, an opportunity for them to do it, and I respect it since it was a friendly game also. And going into the locker room, they try to get his jersey, but then I think his security guards like closed the door or something. So it was a bit funny. I was in the background watching a bit, like I told you, because as much as I would love to get a jersey from him, like I would never see myself fighting for some guy's jersey, whoever he is. You know what I mean? So that's just me.
Of course, I wanted to ask you this thing, since you have played against him, do you think, I don't know, you'll have more, you can say me in a more personal manner or something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think coaches do not mind if Messi beats you in comparison to if someone else won the duel against you? Because I think they admit that he is very good.
I think if on the moment that he beats you or does something, of course, every coach or even yourself or even a player will be frustrated. So they might say something at you or whatever. But I think when they go back and look at the film or something, I think if it's Messi that did something to you, I think they can forgive you more than if it's another player. Like if Messi does something crazy, and they'll be like, okay, it was Messi. He's done that to even Sergio Ramos. He's done that to Boateng. So you know what I mean? Like it's a bit more understandable, and they can forgive you more easy if it's Messi that does it to you. But yeah, on the spot, even you yourself, the player, you're frustrated because it doesn't matter if it's Messi or no, he beat you. You know what I mean? But then when you look back at it, you just like, okay, it was still Messi, so it's not too bad.
I have one more question. Every player, when he or she gets on the field, thinks that they are the best in the world, and of course, maybe according to their own views.
Of course.
But since you played against someone who is proclaimed as the best of all time or the greatest of all times, do you feel when you play against him, do you think, oh no, my quality is low? Do you see the gulf in quality?
To be honest, after that game, not that I feel that my quality is low, but you realize that this guy is on another level.
No, I meant in
Because
quality.
as much as no, I know, I understand. Like, as in, we were playing the game, and every time he had the ball, you felt that, wow, this guy is something else. For as much as, for instance, I was not as much impressed by Di Maria, by Higuain. You felt like it was nothing special. Like, they were good, but you also as a player, you're good. But whenever Messi had the ball, I don't know, the way that he received the ball, the moves he made, the decisions he made, automatically you said, okay, I understand why this guy is proclaimed as the best of all time, because it's evident that as soon as he gets the ball, that these guys are not on your level. Like you're way below him. And even the Argentina guys, like I said, you know that they're good because they play on good teams. But when they got the ball, when we were facing them, when Di Maria had the ball or Higuain had the ball, for me it was nothing because it was just like, okay, it's another player, you know. But Messi, yeah, he makes the difference.
Of course, like I wanted to ask you, like, do you think like when you played, like you would have seen up close with him because you played against him? Do you think like what he does, like you said, when he gets the ball, he glides over that split second decisions he makes? Do you think like those things can be trained, or do you think that cannot be trained?
I don't think they can be trained. I think he was born with it. I think some of them maybe can be trained, and because you see some other players, some top players do it also. I mean, not to his level, but they try to do it. So I think in academies like Barcelona and stuff, they teach you a lot of things. But for me, even if they teach you those things, the rest is just in him. It's just his talent because they can tell you, well, yeah, when you get this is how you chop the ball, or when you get the ball, I want you to do this. But it's one thing for them to tell you to do it, and it's another thing to do it and always be successful, and nobody can get the ball off of you. So for me, it's just in him, you know. Like there's just something in him. Like he's born with this God-given gift, and I mean, a lot of people can try to be close to him and learn some things and work a lot, but his talent is undeniable, and that's what makes him special for me.
Of course, and like I'll move on from that Messi topic. We can go on and on with that, but I'll move on from that. And like, if you had to choose one moment from your career, which is like the standout moment, which one would that be?
For me, it would be when we qualified for the Under-17 World Cup with Haiti, because for me it was also a situation similar to the one with NEROCA, where when we went to the qualifiers, nobody gave us a chance because there was only two teams that were gonna be qualified, and in the regions there was Mexico, there was USA. Mexico was just champions of the year before. They had been champion of the U-17 World Cup in Peru actually, and they were also in our group. There was Honduras, a lot of teams ahead of us, so nobody really gave us a chance. And actually we went there and we did it. After the first game, I helped too. Well, I was happy too because I scored some important goals and I was the leading scorer of the qualifiers, and for me it was a dream come true because I never really thought. I mean, I love football, but I never really thought I'd be going to play in the World Cup. In Haiti, it was history because we had never been to a World Cup. And so it was crazy, the atmosphere around the country, and I was still a guy that was going to high school. So I was going to high school, and I was a big star, but going to high school. And also it made me realize going to the World Cup that this was what I wanted to do for my life, for my career, because even though it's Under-17 World Cup, it's still the same attention, it's still the same preparation as a big World Cup, as a normal World Cup. So this was when I realized, I said, okay, before I was playing football because I loved it. Now I want to play because this is my career, and I know I'm good enough because we were playing against guys that it was Tony Cruz or Boyan that was already had contract in Barcelona, in Bayern Munich, and Chelsea, other guys that was already playing in PSG, and us with no contracts, amateurs from Haiti, and we were playing normally against them. So I said, okay, so I have the level. It's just that I don't have the opportunity to play yet. So I want to do it because I know I'm good enough. And that was because of the World Cup. The World Cup showed me that, and it opened that door for me in my mind mentally that I'm as good as anyone in the field because I am, you know. So whenever I'm playing now with some guys, for me, I always feel like I'm the best player because I remember I used to be playing against those top guys there, and maybe they had better luck than me, better opportunities, and now they're in Real Madrid or whatever, but it's not because they're better than me. So who are those guys playing with me now to think that they're better than me? And that's my mentality, and I always feel like I'm the best player on the field.
Of course, again, another important aspect that I could deduce is that like how you said, like you all were amateurs compared to the others who were participating. But like when you look back, maybe it was in 2007, I think, and now it's almost around 13 years later. They have gone on to achieve a lot in the game. Do you think it is more about opportunities and the foundation that is being laid?
I do. I really do because the talent and the quality that we had brought us to the World Cup. We qualified, for instance, with Haiti, we qualified ahead of USA, in ahead of Mexico. Mexico did not qualify for the World Cup. When we went to the World Cup, we were playing against Brazil with some guys that are still now playing in Real Madrid or top leagues around the world. We played against France. We played against all those top teams. And there also there was players like like I told you, Boyan or Tony Cruz or those kinds of players that were there. And if they were there and we were there and we qualified first in our region ahead of even, like I said, Mexico that have Giovanni Dos Santos and those guys playing at top levels, is that we were better and we had the ability to do it. So I don't think that we become bad right after the World Cup. So if we didn't go as far as they did, I think it's a lot to do with the lack of opportunity that we get. And a lot of times, the thing that we were speaking earlier, the fact that they see a Haitian and they don't believe that he's good footballistically, even though they're seeing the results in front of them. They see how you play, they see you at the top level, they still think, there must be something wrong. This is not right. I must be seeing bad, and they go and give the opportunity to somebody else. So I think this has a lot to do with it, because it's not only me. On that team, there was 4, 5, 6 players on the Haiti team that for me could have been playing in top leagues. I don't say that we'd be playing all in Barcelona or something, but we'd be playing in top leagues in Europe. And it's a shame that we're not, but I don't think it's anything to do with our talent. I think it has to do with opportunities and the chances that we were given, not only by the clubs, but also by the Haitian Federation, because a lot has to do with the Haitian Federation too, that didn't push us the way they should have pushed us, because those guys also, as soon as they finished with the World Cup, their federation would push them and would make them be on the roster of the full national team, even though those guys were not going to be playing, but they were pushing them. I think that our federation didn't push us the same way, and this also is a reason why we didn't get as far as we could have.
Of course, and I just wanted to ask you one thing, before you had the major leagues, maybe European leagues and maybe Brazilian league was the one which were being watched all around the world, and now you have a lot of other leagues, maybe even the Indian league, which is being watched, it has a very huge audience.
Yeah.
It can beat many of the European leagues also. Yeah. Do you think the Indian league is providing opportunity maybe to those people who were being neglected by the European market because they were Asian?
I think so, because at first the thing is also that the leagues in those kind of countries are trying to build audience, like you're saying, and so they just want good players to come at first. They don't care where they come from. They want good players to come, and they give you an opportunity. And I think that it was not only for me, but even some European players. Now you see a lot of European players that are not getting their fair opportunity in their top leagues in their country, and they're coming to India, playing in India, and then they're going back to Europe again. So I think it's a good platform because the fans are there, but the India is having a good plan in place, a good structure. The infrastructures are good, the stadiums are good, the pitches are good. They're bringing good coaches to teach the Indian boys, because the Indian boys are also talented. They have really good players in India also. So when you take all that into consideration and you bring those kind of players that feel or have that thing in them, like you said, me or some other players that feel neglected by the top leagues, that we come there and we have something to prove. But it's not because we're not good enough. It's because you're just not giving the opportunity. Obviously, you're gonna have a good league. You're gonna have a good tournament, and the level is gonna be good. And when you watch a football match from the Super League, like you said, at times it's even better football than some Europe leagues. You know what I mean? And so I think this is what is helping the football in India also. And the federation in India is doing a lot, because they're pushing a lot for their Indian boys with the laws they're putting in, and the fact that they're putting a lot of money in developing those young guys, and those guys are playing well. I think that soon India will be a force to reckon with also in Asia, because of all the work and money that the federation is putting, but also the fact that big talents that maybe are not big names, but big talents are coming to India and playing in India and helping the league in the level of the league to go up.
Of course, and on that note, I'll ask you one final question. And you have had so much experience playing all over the world, and if you had to give a piece of advice to a young player starting out, what advice would you give that player?
If he has to be sure that he wants to play football, he has to be sure. If you're not sure that you want to play it, don't play it because it's a tough sport. As much as there's a lot of leagues around the world, it's a tough sport. You need to have luck, not only talent. You need talent and work hard. But if even if you're talented and you work hard, you need to have luck. You need to have contacts. You need to be resilient. You need to be a fighter. You need to know that it's not gonna happen easily. At times, the mistakes that people make, they turn on their TV, they watch Messi, they watch Cristiano, and they say, "Oh, I want to be there. I know how to play football with my friends. I want to be there." And it's not easy. It's not that easy. There's a lot of work that you have to put in. You have to live a certain lifestyle. You have to know that you're gonna have to stop going to see your friends. At times, every one of your friends are gonna go to vacation or to a party, and you're gonna have to stay at home and be training at 5 in the morning. And so it's really hard, but it's beautiful. If you're ready to put the work in, I would tell them do it. They will not regret it because it's the best career in life. It's the best lifestyle. It's the best thing they could do, in my opinion. But it's not easy. So if they're not ready for it, fully 200%, then they might as well go and look for something else to do.
So definitely, and on that note, Fabian, thank you so much for talking to me, and I wish you all the best for your future with your clubs wherever it is, and hope to see you in India someday playing. I hope I can come and see you in your game live, and hope we can talk in soon. Take
Thank
care,
you.
stay safe, bye.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity. Hopefully, I can be playing close to you soon. I'm hoping to come back to play in India this season, whether it's the Super League or a top contending team in the I League. So hopefully, we'll be able to keep in contact and see each other and speak live. And thank you for everyone that are watching the interview from all over the world.
Thank you so much.
Ciao.
Bye.